We have some breaking news coming into CBS Sports HQ where the injury bug, unfortunately, just keeps biting the Detroit Lions. Our NFL insider Jonathan Jones says that running back David Montgomery could be done for the year with a knee injury suffered in Sunday's loss to the Bills. Now, Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs have been one of the league's most dynamic ground attacks this season, rushing for a combined 1,822 yards, while Montgomery ranks third in the NFL with 12 rushing touchdowns. So that is a huge blow for the Lions. And again, the injury bug just keeps on coming. Getting a look at all of the injuries that the Lions are currently dealing with. Carlton Davis, who just broke his jaw. We were just talking about it in the commercial break with Leger, saying it feels like there's a Pro Bowl team that's all injured here. Aiden Hutchinson, that was a huge one for their defense. But the very latest injury news for the Detroit Lions coming right now with David Montgomery potentially could be out for the year, according to our lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones, dealing with a knee injury that he suffered in that loss to the Bills. Let's talk about David Montgomery and some other NFL news with our NFL analyst, Kyle Long. Kyle, we have to talk about this and what this means for the Lions. This is a huge blow for that backfield, their offense, and just in general. We saw all of the injuries that Detroit is dealing with. Kyle, is this maybe just kind of pushing it over the edge, maybe too many injuries for the Lions to overcome at this point in the season, even though they are sitting there atop of the NFC?
I mean, it's so hard to overcome these hurdles that the Lions have all season long, starting obviously with the Aiden Hutchinson season ender, maybe season ender. We still don't know. We heard Dan Campbell talking about him potentially. You can never count him out, potentially coming back at the end of the season. But the David Montgomery news to me is going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Obviously, Aleem McNeil, ACL, he's been the stalwart in the middle for this defense and the guy that Aaron Glenn can scheme around with pressures externally and internally on the second and third levels of this defense. But without Aleem McNeil, you lose one of the last teeth you have in your mouth as a Lion. And on the offensive side of the football, David Montgomery, such a huge part of that culture, part of what Dan Campbell wants to get done in these short yardage, fourth down conversions. Oftentimes, we see the ball getting into David Montgomery's hands in these situations. I hate it for the young man. I got to play for him when he was a young player in the National Football League. So talented, so tough, but more important than that, what a great dude, and I feel like he is the blueprint for what this year's Detroit Lions are. He's tough, he's smart, he's all those things, and they're going to be without him. It's going to be a huge loss, Jacqueline.
Yes, let's talk about what it means in terms of the division in the NFC North and just in the NFC in general, because we have the Vikings, who are sitting at 11-2. They're second in the NFC North. They've been playing pretty darn well. What are your feelings on the Vikings and their pathway to potentially taking that #1 spot in the division and then, of course, potentially in the NFC in general?
Well, obviously, this Lions team was at the top of the power rankings and Pete Prisco's list, week in, week out. And the way they've looked defensively, it's been worrisome. I don't think the Buffalo Bills punted yesterday. And if they do, I must have blinked and missed that one. But you take a look at the Minnesota Vikings. They're on a 6-game win streak. This is a team that we thought was either going to fold, start losing some games in the second half of the season. Maybe Sam Darnold would turn into the pumpkin that we would imagine he would turn into. But he hasn't. He's been incredible. And, you take a look at his last 4 games, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, over 100 passer rating, and he's been dominant. And in large part, it's due to Sam Darnold. I know people want to give Kevin O'Connell credit, but he's done a great job not forcing the issue to Justin Jefferson. He's been spreading the ball around. We've seen Addison have huge games. We've seen Hawkinson have huge games. The running game has been a big part of this thing. The Vikings are legit. They're scary. And with Flores as the defensive coordinator, you know that they have teeth on that side of the football as well. So Vikings, they are very much in it for that 1 seed in the NFC North.
Kyle, we certainly appreciated diving into that breaking news out of the NFL here, where David Montgomery dealing with a knee injury and could be done for the season. Of course, this is something that we're going to continue to monitor right here on CBS Sports HQ. Getting a look at the odds to win the Super Bowl. The Lions, they are right there in the mix, just behind the Bills at +450. The Bills currently the favorites there at +420. But again, we'll see how the Lions adjust with that huge blow. Yet another injury that we're dealing with on the season with David Montgomery, who is dealing with a knee injury and could be out for the season. We'll continue to monitor that here on CBS Sports HQ.